Marcus, go back to Ikaria for me for a second, and I'm having a thought come through. There's a particular lady that pops up, Greek American, but she's moved to Ikaria. I don't know her name, but she comes up a lot when you're watching a documentary about
They are
longevity.
Pedikos. They
Probably,
are.
yeah.
Yep.
And she talks a lot about the fact that she's running this particular little cafe taverna, and she features this example in this particular documentary. It's like two locals come to repaint the joint, and that's what they were hired for. But they rocked up 5 or 6 hours later than what they said. They did a couple of hours work. They sat down. They had lunch over like 3 hours with a
Yep.
couple of pints of wine and this and that.
Yep.
And the point was that they weren't fussed about time, pressure, and deadlines and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'd love
Yep.
to hear you talk to that.
So, okay, so I don't want to give the movie version, but Thea is a dear friend of mine. She's been our host at Ikaria since 2016, and Thea was the glue of the National Geographic research in Ikaria. So Thea grew up in Michigan, to Ikarian parents, went to Ikaria all the time to visit family, fell in love with Ilya, a local Ikarian, decided to raise their children in Ikaria versus America. And she's been over there for 30 years, but sounds like she got off the plane yesterday. So she's a perfect bridge because as Aussies, she can speak English very easily, and she knows everyone on the island because she's a local. But she's right, and I've watched a Bluey episode with the kids recently called Tradies, where the mum is her name Chili. Anyway, she's like, the tradies said it'd be 3 days, it better not be 4 days, which is very Australian. It's like, I know your day rate, it's 3 days, not 4 days, whatever. In Ikaria, it's completely different. It's like, take as long as you need. I trust that you're not going to do me over. If you only do a couple of hours work, but you have lunch with your mates and you have a couple of glasses of wine over lunch, which is so how it rolls over there. There's a few one-liners in Ikaria like, just do it, ... tomorrow. They literally have that Nike t-shirt, just do it tomorrow. They are so, it drives some people nuts. I've got people that go, I couldn't come to Ikaria, it'd drive me nuts because your coffee takes 15 minutes. They want to sit and chat with you. Everything is slow. You cannot expect things to happen quickly, but in many ways, then you attempt to get into that way and you go, my heart rate is so much slower than when it is back in Australia. Like, my mind is so much more still. And I haven't meditated every day. I've actually just sunk into the island. And there is a one-liner in Ikaria. It either sucks you in or it spits you out. And it definitely spits out people that will not adjust to that level of pace and even that level of community. So yeah, no, she's on the money there, Dan, for sure.
Would you go as far as to say that that's probably 70 to 80% of it, just that nervous system impact of Western living?
I feel like every time I go to Ikaria, I'm like, well, what am I going to learn this time? I feel like I come back every year with 10 ideas that I want to adjust. Like, even Ilya, Thea's husband, is like, I siesta every day in the summer when it's long, when there's a lot of daylight. He said, I don't siesta in the winter, but he's mad for siesta. He's like, I won't do the accent, but I'm tempted. He's like, Marcus, do you even know what siesta means? And I was like, rest. And he's like, it means 6 hours. So 6 hours after you work, that's when you rest. And he'll rest for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, wow, yeah, okay. I reckon at about 3 o'clock every day, I am way less enthusiastic than I am at 9 o'clock in the morning. But in health and wellness, we start talking about your hormone levels and how much sugar have you had, and did you have a muffin at morning tea, and are you craving sugar at afternoon tea? Maybe, again, having had this chat with Ilya, maybe you're just tired and you need a rest. But if you work in corporate, unless you work at Google, can you really hop into a little pod and rest for half an hour to have your siesta? Who's going to pay for that? You're the company. Like, we don't. These are the cultural deficiencies that I think we have where, is it 70 and 80% of it? I don't know, but we don't allow for, even if it's 10% of it, we don't have the cultural norms to make it easy. Alcohol being another one. In Ikaria, they would never drink on an empty stomach, whereas we say eating is cheating. In Ikaria, they would never drink to get drunk. They love getting tipsy. They're so good at it. But if you're drunk in Ikaria, they're like, all right, there's something going on in Marcus's life. Tomorrow, once he's sobered up, I'm going to knock on his door and ask him if he's okay. We have an annual day called Are You Okay Day, whereas they just have it built into their culture. Anyway.